The mastermind. His childhood greatly affected him in his life until he grew up and became responsible for the murder of 35 people. And yet, he thought that he wouldn't be imprisoned where the one who killed wasn't him, but someone else. He didn't take the matter seriously until he found himself in the hands of the police and was being tried for killing them all. What happened until it happened, and how was he tried if he was in the murder? And who is he? On 12 November 1934, Charles Manson was born through an illicit relationship. His mother, Kathleen Maddox Power Cavender, was young as she was 16 years old and filed a case against his biological father, Colonel Walker Henderson Scott, until he confessed to him, where when she told him about it at first, he told her that he would go to the army and then return until the son registered in his name. But he ran away, and Kathleen didn't find a better solution than the court. And it didn't last long until Kathleen married William Eugene Manson, and the child was registered in his name. Some years pass until the mother is imprisoned for 5 years for theft, and Manson goes to a relative's house until his mother comes out and they move to Charleston. But nevertheless, the mother didn't change as she began to go to alcoholic meetings. All this was enough to make Manson grow up in an unhelpful environment. Manson began his criminal career as a child. He was arrested once because of the burning of the school at the age of 9, and he began to steal at this age until the court decided in 1947 to transfer him to the Gebold School for Boys. But Manson didn't calm down until he escaped from it and went to his mother. But the mother decided to return him again to school. In January 1952, he was arrested for raping a young child at gunpoint and left in May 1954 to live with his aunt and uncle in McMahan, West Virginia, and married in January 1955 to a hospital employee named Rosalie Jane Wells. His marriage didn't affect what he did, and every once in a while he fell into the hands of the police for stealing, forging, or raping children. On 21 March 1967, Manson came out of prison after sitting there for a while and began to form a family, or the so-called Manson's followers, and was joined by many people, including well-known celebrities, who initially told them that there was a race war between the black and white inhabitants of America, and Manson called him Helter-Skelter. The first crimes of the family were in early August 1969, where Melker refused to record an album for Manson, and this didn't like him and asked his family to kill his wife, and the family went to carry out his words, and there was a young man at the age of 18 years standing in front of the victim's house. They killed him, and then Melker's wife, an actress Sharon Tate, and then killed 4 others in her house and wrote on the door of the house in blood big, and the family gained wide national fame. The next day, they killed the manager of a wealthy supermarket, Leno Bianca Tate, and his wife Mary, on Manson's instructions by stabbing them several times. But Manson was angry about what they did and gave them specific instructions for the next time: to tie the couple with lamp wires and cover their heads with pillows before stabbing them several times. They continued like this for the duration of Manson's order, and the family carried out without Manson doing any murder, until the number of victims reached 35 people, and they went so far as to attempt on the life of United States President Gerald Ford in Sacramento by Lynette Quick from. Manson and his family were captured by the police and were assisted by a family member, Linda Kazapian, who confessed to everything and drove them to the Bianca home. In return, the police gave her immunity to testify. The trial began on 15 July 1970 in California. The murders, Leslie Van Houten, Suzanne Atkins, and Patricia Krenwinkel, were sentenced to death, and the accused Tex Watson would later be tried because he wasn't extradited from Texas. On 24 July 1970, Manson appeared for the first time in front of the court with the Nazi cross engraved on his forehead. And during the trial, Manson and his co-defendants interrupted the testimony and mocked the prosecutors. And repeatedly, some of the family members camped in front of the court with carving swastika crosses in their heads. And it didn't stop here, as Manson tried to attack the judge on 5 October 1970 and came out angry with him and shouted, saying, "In the name of Christian justice, someone should cut off your head." After many protests and investigations, Manson and his family were sentenced to life in prison, with the trial described as the longest trial in history. During his imprisonment, he was given several press interviews, one of which was shown on television. Manson died on 19 November 2017 due to respiratory failure and colon cancer. And on 12 March 2018, the Supreme Court of Kern County, California, decided to hand over his son Freeman Manson's body, and Freeman cremated Manson's body on 20 March 2018.